Yeah, there will be some adult language, uh, violent scenes, and yeah, this is not audio and stuff is not made for children. So if you are a child and you want to hear a D&D story, you might want to go somewhere else because this is gonna get a little intense. All right, previously on the Starfight. Venarian does the easy clap and closes the tunnel behind us. Everybody wins. All right, good night, everybody. Okay. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tis I once more, the Hollow Oz. As you might see, I have decided to change my screen to this Lagiacris, this big Leviathan beast from the Mongo Hunters, if you will. On a side note, I kind of wished he actually came into Monster Hunter World, but I'm alright with him not being in it. Like I get it, but the Leviathan model couldn't really come into the game. But okay, anyway, this is not about Monster Hunter. This is once again the next part in the Tales of the Reptile Mafia. Now, as you may have seen back there, I had the recap of basically we a good can't talk right now. A good portion of the Reptile Mafia has been introduced. We've met each other through the Drow prison, the slave camp, and we did a lot of shenanigans, but we eventually escaped. And with the good help of Venarian, we did the thunderclap, or just the easy clap, thunder wave, I don't know. Collapsed the tunnels behind us, and we managed to escape out into the Underdark, which is great. So afterwards, we just kind of talked around in chat as to what we were supposed to be doing. After a bit of discussion, Ned was able to convince us and talk about how of a town, this kind of shady trading town that's somewhat neutralish area in the Underdark where Durgar, Drow, sometimes dwarves, deep gnomes, whatever, come to trade with one another. I believe this place is called Mental Dareth. I think that's the name of the town. I might be thinking of a different town. Not 100% sure, but if I am incorrect, I will probably put I'll probably type in the video what it actually is. But regardless, we go to this town after agreeing to do so because we are kind of in short need of supplies. We are a group of adventurers and surface dwellers, mostly surface dwellers, who are not exactly ready to face whatever is going on in the Underdark right now. So, we end up traveling over toward Mental Dareth. Now, being the charismatic individual that Venarian is, he is, after all, our Dragonborn sorcerer. He wanted to be kind of more of a face and help kind of be, yeah, like I said, the face of the party, actually try to be persuasive and whatnot. However, Matoru was able to point out that, well, this is kind of what we would call a den of scum and villainy. So maybe Mr. Proper-faced, Mr. Big, proper, polite, noble Dragonborn might not be the face that people are more inclined to deal with. However, regardless, we needed supplies, we needed equipments, we needed all sorts of stuff. So we all enter in Mental Dareth. Now, when we came in here, we still have quite a few of the other prisoner NPCs. I think some of them did remain behind, though I'm not entirely sure. One thing's for certain, Yolanda needed some more items. She needed more arrows, she needed better kind of fletching and whatnot. While Zakira, thinking that, well, this town might have a lot of random stuff, so maybe she could find some items, something maybe more druidic side that she could actually use to help teach Stool how to be a druid, because she's kind of grown more and more of a liking to our young Stool, our little Myconid boy. So being a good and decent mother, she wanted to teach Stool how the means and ins and outs of the natural world and all that stuff. So when we came in here, we all kind of went around looking for our different stuff. Matoru kind of just followed around doing different things. I think he mostly just followed Ned just to make sure that fucker just stays out of trouble for the most part. However, here's where we find Ted, the brother of Ned. Ted is another kobold NPC that we don't really see him a lot after this, or a good while afterwards, he kind of just disappears. I think we mostly kind of just forgot about him. But basically, Ted is the reason that Ned fell into the crate and box and kind of just disappeared, and Ted just never bothered to find him because, well, Ned might probably just dead. However, reunited and a bit of scolding, we see that Mental Dareth seemed to be having a bit of a problem between the deep gnomes and the Duragar. We kind of just sat there and didn't really take a side because we kind of just didn't care. We're not here to be part of any kind of problem or situation. We're just trying to leave as soon and as quickly as possible. However, at some point, it's actually here that Yolanda comes across basically an animal trader, the pet shop, if you will. And our ranger decided to get her hands on at least a couple of beasts. Now remember, she's not a beast master ranger, she is still a gloomstalker. However, she still kind of fancied the idea of having an animal companion that she could use for various combats and whatnot. I think this is officially the first time that one of us, our DM Tanner and myself, have decided to be a bit more homebrewy in our monsters because we both, at least both of us at the time, were still very into Monster Hunter, and I still am, of course, as you may have seen in my previous videos. But here he decided that it would be cool if somehow one of these traders basically had not a juvie really, but a very young like hatchling of a Legiana. For those of you who do not know what a Legiana is, I'm gonna put a picture right there. Yeah. Legianas are basically flying icy wyverns that are very beautiful, very blue, white, yellowish colorations. Are basically these icy wyverns who kind of just make a grand flourish of frost and ice all around them. Yeah. Our beloved ranger Yolanda decided that she really wanted this creature, and our friend who was playing Yolanda at the time was also really into World of Warcraft. So she named this thing Jaina, and we all had a bit of a kick out of it. Yeah, but yeah. So now we have a Jaina in the party. Yay, Jaina Predmore. She's a frosty wyvern. Ain't she pretty? Anyway. With Zakira was also kind of walking around and kind of just seeing all the pets and animals because that's what a druid would do probably. And I think among them she kind of saw, like, I don't remember if she actually saw a young or a juvie dinosaur. Like I believe it was specifically like a Deinonychus or something like that. However, she did. I remember during this part, because she is a Circle of the Moon druid, she's more into wild shaping herself into various things. I think this is basically where she started to take on bigger, tougher, scarier things. One of these things eventually she starts her favorite forms, or Deinonychus, which proved out to be very helpful in a lot of the early fights. However, two things happen that cause a whole lot of chaos that was absolutely not necessary. So let me start by breaking down something that happened that is meant to kind of happen in the I guess the main module of, because remember, this is still Out of the Abyss, so there are a few things that we are kind of following with the module. We haven't exactly gone completely off the rails just yet. You'll know. I'll let you know when that happens. But what happens here is there's supposed to be a grand like meeting between the various factions that are living here in Mental Dareth, like the Deep Gnomes, the Duragar, the Drow, a few other, like, I think, human mercenaries. So one of the things that, like I said, we wanted to do was at least to talk to whoever the hell is in charge around here, so maybe we can find our way out and actually back on the surface and away from the madness that's happening and actually return to our lives. So we end up going to this town hall meeting-ish. Like I said, the different factions are kind of coming together to talk. I believe in here we had Venarian, Matoru and Ned kind of providing as, I guess, his bodyguards at the time. I believe we had they haven't showed up just yet. But we had to pretty much stay there and kind of help keep Venarian safe and pretty much our brain intact to make sure that he doesn't, die. And during this time, there is like a Drow representative party, a Durgar representative party. There's like a human, like mediator representative party. And the last person to join this meeting was this Beholder. I don't remember the name of this Beholder, but he is an official character of the module, so I'm sure quite a few of you would remember his name. I'm probably going to put the name of it right here, or somewhere around there, I don't know. But basically, we sit here and we kind of listen to this meeting. Venarian pretty much tried to get his a word into the leader to ask about that. We wanted to talk about what's going on, like how do we get out of here, what we need to do, and all that stuff. And as we waited for the politics to, finally finish, a random Drow assassin that was supposed to be like a bodyguard for one of the Drows just comes out of nowhere and just starts like attacking people. Like she just bull rushes the Beholder.
Welcome to Oakland, bitch!
Everything just flies into chaos. Matoru and Ned kind of immediately start clashing against people who started to just attack them. Matoru just yeeted people out of this tent and into some like alley opening. I distinctly remember this part because our DM at the time was super not prepared for any of this and did not think that Barbarian just yeets enemies out of tent so he could, take the fight out of Metropolis, if you will, and keep people safe. And while this is happening, just before the meeting, Zakira comes across a Drow person who seems to be sitting alone at a fountain or some kind. Now, while in this city, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of different guards. There are a lot of gargoyle-looking statues, and I'm pretty sure those are just 100% actual gargoyles. Those of you who aren't too familiar, gargoyles can be a real pain for low-level adventurers, mostly because of their resistances to a lot of bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and just magical resistances. Like, these guys are tough, especially for, a starting barbarian and fighter who have no sort of magical means to pierce through their shit. So,
I don't like that one bit.
That being said, let me tell you what happens and why this is important. You see, Zakira began to kind of talk to this person, try to see if this guy can help teach Stool, her child, how to druid or magic-y in nature. I really don't remember what causes this. I'd like to believe that maybe the Drow person actually said something to really set off Zakira, or if there was some kind of weird mind effects that were happening. But basically, he was basically just saying, no, I don't want to do this, blah, 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 and he ends up getting up and leaves, and Zakira, not wanting to give up, just on instinct, turns into basically like a raptor or Deinonychus and just leaps and just pounces on the guy, and the guy freaks out, and Zakira just panics and just starts attacking. I think she does start attacking him, or basically just tries to grab a hold of him with, her freaking razor-sharp talons, and that causes some distress, and the gargoyles animate, and they end up coming in to pretty much fight off Zakira and, all that stuff. So now we have Zakira on one end being attacked by things. Yolanda appears in the scene as like, what the hell is going on? Meanwhile, Matoru and Ned and Venarian are off fighting off some Drow and angry Duragar and whatnot. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't ever split the party for a single moment. Alright? Yeah? Okay. So let me tell you what happens next. We somehow succeed because Matoru and Ned are stalwarty, tanky people, and Venarian finally got to be on his turn and realized that, I should just... Wait, they're stone and rocky people. They're inanimate objects. Thunder. Just to shatter. Just starts blowing up these gargoyles like nothing. It was pretty cool and pretty impressive, and we managed to end up escaping, but not before Venarian ended up picking up an item off of the Drow assassin who started the whole shenanigan in the first place. A necklace, this gem kind of item that he ends up picking up, and he tries to, he didn't have Identify. I think he does have Detect Magic, but he didn't have Identify because I think he's a sorcerer, and I don't think sorcerers really get it, like in the low levels. Not 100% sure right now off the top of my head, but regardless, he didn't have such a thing, so he just Arcana checked and is like, okay, this is a magical item of some sort. And he does the big brain move. I think he does put it on for like a while. I don't think, or something. He does something with it. I don't remember, but basically this item wasn't exactly cursed. Like it's not stuck to him, from what I recall. Meanwhile, Zakira is almost, I think she actually gets knocked out of her wild shape form, but at this point, during all the fun and fuss, Matoru was granted a very unique skill, if you will. Now here's the thing about our DM Tanner. He's very, like I said, he's very relaxed, he's a very cool DM. And if he's inspired by what our players do and enjoys the role-playing and the actions and the creativeness of what we're doing, he'll probably give us some really cool, like, unique skill or feature for our characters. And this is where Shell Shock was born. Matoru, remembering that, well, I guess me, and I guess Matoru, mostly me probably. So we had very fast movement when we were angry. And we are basically a giant spiky turtle man. So, in my creative genius, I decided to basically sprint towards Akira as fast as I can and just completely retract it to my shell and start Koopa shelling right into some gargoyles. And our DM's like, do it, roll athletics. I don't remember if Matoru crit or not, but basically he definitely succeeded in his check and his stuff, and basically he just had the gargoyles make I believe it was like a strength or constitution check, and I think basically Matoru did, I think, ricochet into two of them, and I think one of them succeeded, but the other one just got actually got cracked and dented in by his spiky ass hardened shell. We managed to pull Sakura out of there, and Yolanda managed to regroup with the rest of us. Aira at the time, I think our player for Aira wasn't there, and the reason why I say that is because at the time she was very kind of shy, kind of passive and timid. She wasn't really sure how to really get into the games most of the time. She definitely had fun and she definitely enjoyed herself, but like I said, she was kind of a passive player and didn't really say or speak a whole lot. But don't worry, there's quite a few moments where she actually shines brightly in the game, and I remember quite a few of them very well. However, we managed to escape this place, Mental Dareth. We completely just leave this place behind. We got whatever we needed, some supplies, rations, bedrolls, and all that junk, rope, very important. And we took Ted with us, because why not? We ended up escaping this place, and Venarian, actually, wait, no, I'll talk about that one a little later. So we regrouped back with the rest of the party and escaped prisoners, and we decided to talk about, okay, well, what's our next move? Where should we go from here? We did manage to secure a map. That was very important. Like I said, we got quite a few things out there. One of the Kutoas, well, actually, the Kutoa prisoner will say, well, we should go back to my village, to Slopple. What? Slopple what? Slopdedoop. So, remember, Kutoa, they're fish people, so their language is kind of funky. Yeah. So, Slopdedoop, it's kind of hard to say because the tongue can't make that noise, as I've learned from the Lovecraft man. But basically, it's a village for these fish people. Basically, we all agree, and we start making our way toward that place. That was pretty much the end of that session because it was actually kind of a long and crazy one. But yeah, there is some more that I want to talk about, but I think I'm going to save it for the next video. Depending on how well this goes, because I'm trying something different. maybe it might come out sooner than later. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This will be the end of, I guess, part 1. I guess part 2 of chapter 1. But yeah, I hope to see you all later again in the next video.